So it's a real cool track. I'm just gonna play the rawness of it, as raw as it is. I just disabled a couple of things, but we're gonna have some fun with this particular track. So let me play it for you guys. This is a real cool, fun track. It really ramps up CCM type vibe. So really fun track. Sounds really, really cool. So I'm just gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna start with the drums here. I'm not gonna be doing as much talking, but I'm gonna explain some stuff because um as I go through, I'll explain some stuff as I go through. But I want to kind of put my ears on the drums and kind of feel, where they are and see if we can make these sound bigger, kind of more bombastic, cut through this track. It's a little bit dense. The drums sound good as it is, but we're going to kind of dig through them and utilize some stuff from Yosh Drum Warehouse. If you guys don't know what that is, you'll get a chance to see it in action tonight. And so, yeah, let's just jump in. Let's have some fun. Let's see what we can get with this track. So the kick sounds good, but I want to make it a little bit more like in your face. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got to cut through that mix, and it's got to feel like a big live kick. So here inside of Trigger 2, we'll pull in something from Yosh Warehouse. And I kind of know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use something from the Legacy kicks that come with it. It's the ambient kick. Let's drop that in there, which sounds like that. Real big, live sounding kick. You know what I mean? Kind of gives you that kind of vibe. Then when we blend it with the other kicks, just the kicks by itself. Then we just see what it sounds like in, because we're not replacing the kick, we're layering the kick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the because I'm thinking about iPhone. I'm thinking about like how to make it cut through there. I like that feel. Let's see. Now, again, I don't replace snares. I layer them. I layer them. So we're gonna work on snares next. Let's see what we got. Now the drummer gave me a trigger. Like this came in the files. So the drummer sent this in. You know what I'm saying? So he has his own trigger in here, which that sounds like this. So that's just from the drummer. You know what I'm saying? That came in from him. Man, you know what's crazy? And you know what really elevates a track? Having the right drums. And speaking of drums, if you haven't checked out Yosh's Drum Warehouse yet, you're seriously missing out. We connected with John Yosh, a 7-time Grammy Award winner, and we packed over 600 plus multi-sample sounds that work with any DAW and are perfectly formatted for Trigger 2. We're talking tons of snares, kicks, toms, and so much more. You name it, it's in this sample pack. So whether you're on Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools, Cubase, Bitwig, whatever you got, it's all here. It's ready to take your production to the next level. Seriously, go grab it right now. gospelproducers.com. All right, back to the show. So he's got his own file. So we'll use that. And then I've already, to save myself time, so I'm not doing this all on camera, I've already copied that track, that trigger track, down to some other triggers that I'm going to use. And we're going to layer out these drums in a way that just kind of makes sense to build this track. And I'm gonna show you guys the snares that these are my snares that I have in my template that come out of Yosh Drum Warehouse. And if you guys don't know, let me find it. Oh, let me get back. Let me show you guys Yosh Warehouse, just because this is Yosh one. So if you hear me make reference to Yosh Drum Warehouse, this is what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm using. I'm utilizing snares out of Yosh Drum Warehouse for those who are curious. And if you want to add these to your arsenal, that's what I'm using That the kicks that you hear are the layered kicks, not the. I'm not replacing the kick. I'm layering, not replacing. That is my philosophy. It's no difference than they do in hip hop where they're layering kicks together. You're stacking claps together to make one big fat clap. You do the same thing in drums live drums to make them feel bigger. And I'm gonna show you guys how to make them even feel more real in a track. All right. And it has to do with bringing up some of the ghost notes. We're going to get into that here in just a second. So drummer has his own trigger in here. So I'm gonna bring in my triggers. These are the triggers that are already in my template that come out of Yosh Warehouse. There's the Brett snare, classic. You want that to give you that attack. But what I also like to do to add weight and punch to a snare, I use this popcorn. So really high-pitched, like popcorn snare. I like it because it adds that nice top end punch in there. And then we use the wallet, which is the room only. That's a feature inside of a trigger where you can select the different basically articulations. We're using the room only. So I'm using the room from the popcorn wallet snare and the actual popcorn snare, right? And so that adds some attack. So when you bring in the Brett and the popcorn snare, so let's bring in just the Brett. This is what the Brett sounds like. Without it, that's just with the drummer's trigger. And we bring in the Brett, right? So we're building this out in stacks. Next, we're going to bring in the popcorn snare. That's what this one is. This is popcorn snare. All right, popcorn snare adds like this in it. So you see that? It's adding that top end to it. All right, we're going to keep building out. Then I'm going to show you what it sounds like in the context of the track. Next one is kind of a mesh that I like to add in, and it's using the absolute snare. Gives you some weight. And then we have this thing called everybody's favorite. It's the wallet version. And then the absolute snare center, just the room. And that's what adds the weight to the snare. All right. So now with these in there, you get this. All right. We're just layering it out, bits and pieces. All right, let's see the context of the full drum mix. So I'm going to mute my triggers. Just the drum mix. I just want to hear the drum mix. So that's the drummer, just the drummer's snare and the drummer's trigger that he sent in. All right, let's bring in my triggers, these 3 sets. So that's feeling good. Now, to help add in some realism, the drummer sent 2 snare tops. He recorded that way, I guess. So this is the second snare top. So there's this cool part here towards the end where he's really doing some ghost notes. Not in here. This is just a straight drive. Rudiments, ghost notes, right in there. We don't want that to get lost in the triggers. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna compress the snot out of these bad boys. Like literally 2A thrown together. And having that over compressed snare in there also brings it up in the mix, you know, and brings up that natural ring to the drums that we want to hear. So I'm liking the way that sounds. So let's hear it in the context of the mix so you can see what I'm talking about. I like that. I like that. I think that makes it sound real big and cuts through. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep moving. I'm gonna stop yapping for a second because I want to focus on these toms for a little bit, and then we'll start building out some of this other stuff. Hope that was valuable to you guys. Terrence says, please, are you using stereo widening tools? What are your thought process when it comes to widening a mix? So I typically don't use widening on I don't use widening on um I don't use the widening tools on the mix as a whole. There's times where I have lately. I can't remember the last time I put like a widener on the master bus. You know what I'm saying? Like it just hasn't been something that's been a part of my process. Lately, I used to try to do that to widen the mix, but I found it better if you want to widen something, you do it at the track level or the bus level. So I am using some wideners in this mix, and I'm going to show you where. So I'm actually using one on the drums. I'm using the T-Rex quad imager. I'm using this to kind of help spread out the drums a little bit. So it helps with when you're hearing the toms, you know what I'm saying? When you hear those joints, putting a widener to me, it helps kind of make those drums feel just bigger in a song like this because you know what I'm saying, like this a super dense mix, and depending on what you're going for, like the stage, when you want the stage to feel bigger, I start at the track level. And so what are things that make a mix feel bigger? Drums are the thing that make a mix feel bigger. And I'm gonna show you another place where I'm using a widener to kind of, and the reason why I'm using it. Um the drum. So you spread it out a little bit and it makes those feels feel a little bit bigger. That's just my take. Other people will say, depending on what engineer you talk to, this is just become a part of my thing and it lives on my drum bus. Sometimes I turn it off if I feel like it's doing too much. But in this song, I left it on because I felt like it works. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's find a section where the drums are really kind of really where's a moment where there's a big feel. Okay, right here. So I'm gonna turn the joint off. It's off. The widener is off. Same space. So it doesn't feel bad, but when I turn it on and I'm literally, these are the settings. I think it's just the default when you load it up. I ain't done anything. See what I'm saying? No widener. You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening on my monitors, so it sounds like it just crunched in a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And I want it to feel bigger. So turning this on, now it feels like I feel like depending on where you guys are looking, like if I feel like my stage just got bigger. You know what I mean? Like the the toms just come further in. It just feels like they're flowing and I feel like it's almost like drummer image, right? I'm the drummer and I'm playing and I'm in the big. It's I could just feel it better. I don't know if you guys can tell. If you're listening on like monitors or you're listening on headphones, you probably hear it better. But if you're listening on the phone, probably not. But if you're listening to it on like monitors or on headphones or AirPods or something, where you can actually hear the mix, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Y'all, want to thank you for making it to the end of this clip. We appreciate you watching this breakdown. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to check out the links right over here. If you want to take your production, mixing, or whatever to the next level, or check out some of the other products that we have, make sure you check the links down in the description and in the comment section of this video. All right, I appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.